a better education for my sons. Thank you.
Good afternoon to the council members. Chairman, I applaud your stamina for today. It's been an incredibly long one. My name is Tendai Watkins, and I'm a parent and an education advocate. I have come here to ask each of you, and even your council members that are not present today, to vote no to Resolution 442. I bring you the story of a young man named Tendai, who's an 8th grader at Excellence Boys Charter School in Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn. He spent the last 9 months, from March 2nd to October 19th of this year, traveling alone, round trip, 2.5 hours for a 3-hour class. He sacrificed 30 Sundays and spent 90 class hours, not counting study time, preparing for the SHSAT. He did this with no summer break and concurrently maintained his regular school workload, earning strong marks and going to school essentially 6 days a week. This scholar is motivated, he's high achieving, he's quick-witted, and he has a very strong work ethic. He's also 12 years old. He scored 4s on his math and English state exams 2 years in a row. I'm talking 6th and 7th grade. And he lives in District 16, which has no gifted and talented programming, has no rigorously challenging academic enrichment programming, and as far as I know, no magnet programming that prepares students for college preparatory work. What he did have was a persistent mother, one who scoured the internet to find affordable test preparation, but there was none. But what I did find was a 1-page or 2-page website for the Science Schools Initiative program. This program serves Title I students in Upper Manhattan. Remember now, I live in Brooklyn. And it relies on donations and has no permanent site. So it's switching between Columbia University Medical Center all the way on 168th Street and between a public school on 135th Street. This program is run by Mr. Massetti and a small group of dedicated, specialized high school alumni and current students who believe in equal access for well-qualified and deserving students from low-income backgrounds. My son, Tendai, was blessed to be one of the 40 kids to successfully complete this program and sit for the SHSAT this past October. And he sat for it with confidence, ready, and prepared to meet the challenge that is the 3-hour exam for one shot at a free selective education. This program, the Science Schools Initiative, was critical and met my son at his current academic abilities and elevated his skills, strengthening his capacity to be strategic and focused during a high-stakes exam. The demand for programming like this in Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn is incredibly high in District 16, but there is no one to meet the need. I implore the City Council members present here today to understand that a commitment to diversity is appropriate, but enacting legislation that funds proven, scalable, and sustainable programs like the Science Schools Initiative will have a longer lasting and far greater impact on students and the families that you each serve. Changing the criteria for admissions to mimic selective boarding or private day schools, where other factors beyond test performance are taken into account, in my estimation as a parent of 25 years, is a grave mistake with far-reaching consequences. And I appeal to each one of you to recognize and change what is unequal in our educational system, which is equal access. Black and Hispanic children, when provided with the same level of quality of resources of teachers, curriculum, materials, and funding, technology, can become well-qualified students and will not just show incremental gains in performance, but significant and sustained performance. But again, it requires equal access and consistent supports. We all know that New York City Department of Education operates the largest school system in the country, with a $20.6 billion operating budget, and we're in the Empire State where citizens in the 5 boroughs pay disproportionately higher taxes than other municipalities in our state. And our children all across New York City do not receive equal school funding, so that truly no child is left behind. I know y'all know this, I know y'all agree, I'm not telling you anything new, right? But currently, as it stands, the majority of Black and Hispanic children are at a marked academic disadvantage to their Asian, Indian, and white peers. It will become increasingly hard for these students to be academically competitive unless all council members do something today. work together, develop a comprehensive and a cohesive plan that utilizes existing infrastructures and resources and implements it in a phased approach to equal access. That doesn't require a study. Take actionable and quantifiable plan to Governor Cuomo. And please remember that today's high school experience is unlike anything else that anyone in this building has ever experienced. It's longer, it's harder, it requires more. I firmly believe that education is the best long-term economic investment that anyone can make, and that a high-quality education is the foundation for every child to grow, prosper, and contribute to a positive society. I think that a 5-point plan, which I've outlined here, I won't go into it in the interest of time, is appropriate. And I thank the City Council Chairman and the members for their time and willingness to hear the voice of the people today. Thank you.
Thank you very much to the panel, and also Mr. Maschetti, did I say?
It's Massetti.
Massetti.
Yeah, silent C.
Okay, silent. Thank you for your testimony also. I could relate to it, although I don't agree with your conclusions, obviously, if you heard my statements prior. But you do bring up one thing. Math is particularly a sequential subject. If you do not master a concept in the 4th grade and no one addresses that knowledge deficiency, that deficiency will haunt you as you struggle in the 9th grade and throughout high school. And then you said a little bit further down in your testimony, it's also important that we do not set students up for failure. Now, I have to tell you, I was teaching when the Bloomberg administration was in office, and the math program that they were using, Everyday Math, did not allow you to go back to do review. And so if a child did not get a concept, you had to continue to move on, and that was the end of that. And that's also a big reason why students don't have if you lose it in 4th grade, you're not going to be able to do it in 9th grade. And I just want to thank you for pointing that out. And I believe that that is part of the setup for failure as well.
Councilman, I've thought about being a math teacher instead of a lawyer at various times throughout my life, and I think that would be one of the biggest frustrations that I would have to deal with, seeing kids who have missed something in the earlier grades and not being able to go back and address those deficiencies because they're tied to a curriculum that's planned down to the day what they need to teach. So I agree with you on that point.